Having lagging skills, skill deficits related to problem solving, flexibility, frustration tolerance, having lagging skills alone doesn't lead to challenging behavior, believe it or not. Lagging skills alone don't lead to challenging behavior. Why is that? Well, think about it this way. Does the child with a reading disability, a hard time, let's say, phonetically decoding words, are they always at risk for struggling all throughout the course of their day? Whether it's at home, at school, whether it's on the bus, recess, art? No. When are they at greatest risk for struggling?
When there's a situational trigger.
When there's a situational trigger. In other words, when the world puts a demand on them that would require the skills that they lack. In other words, in the girl's case that I'm talking about, when somebody asks her to read. That's when her difficulty reading kicks in. So, while you now know that I cannot throw a fastball 95 miles an hour, that is actually probably not going to get in my way today. Because nobody's asking me to throw a fastball 95 miles an hour. My skills deficit, if you want to call it that, is not going to cause me problems today because the world is not placing that demand on me. What am I simply trying to illustrate here? That the reason lagging skills don't cause challenging behavior alone is because challenging behavior, whether it's an explosion, an implosion, or anything else in between, when does that occur? When a demand is placed upon a kid that requires skills to handle that demand in an adaptive way that the person doesn't fully possess or can't access in that moment. What I'm suggesting is it takes two to tango. The pairing of some, as you put it, situational trigger, demand, expectation, problem, issue, situation, something that the world presents to you that you would need skills to handle well, that you are lacking. It takes two to tango. Does that make sense? Now what this means, of course, is if your explanation guides your intervention, it's not going to be as simple as figure out what skills the kid lacks and teach them. Yes, that is going to be part of the logical intervention, figure out what skills the kid lacks and teach them. But we have to look at the other side of it takes two to tango also, which is what are the chronic problems that are precipitating this challenging behavior? The situational triggers, the demands, the expectations, the situations, the issues that precipitate the challenging behavior, and how are we going to work on solving those together with the kids? Another way of saying that, of course, is really what we're talking about. At the end of the day, you only really got two levers to pull here. What are the levers? The problems the kid's having a hard time handling, the skill set they have to handle those problems. And what I find is that challenging behavior is the product of those two things. An equation that is the problems you're presented with and the skills you have to handle them. And I see everything from big problems and pretty good skill set to not big problems, but very, very lagging skill set and everything in between leading to challenging behavior. So you'll see kids in horrible situations, faced with trauma and abuse, who actually have good skill sets, to begin with at least, but the problems overwhelm the skill set they have. On the other end of the continuum, you'll see kids who have what from the outside looks like a wonderful life that we would all be blessed to have, and yet they're melting down right and left. What does that look like? They don't have big-time problems to solve, but they got big-time lagging skills. And everything in between will lead to challenging behavior.